Hi everyone, welcome back. Today I'm going to be filming a full face of Makeup by Mario. I haven't filmed one of these in a long time and I'm so excited to bring this series back. So let me know what brand you'd like to see next. But let's see what Makeup by Mario has in store for us. There's a few new launches that I'm very enticed to try out today. I put on henna freckles yesterday. I've done it a couple times, but they really stained yesterday and I don't really love the position I put them in. But if you'd like to see my little routine, I've been loving it. It's such a fun addition to my summer routine. But starting off with Makeup by Mario, I'm going to go in with the foundation. I'm using the shade 5N. If you watched my recent decluttering series, this is something I ended up decluttering of. But when I was editing that video, I kind of had regrets, so I put it into my retry bin. So we'll see if this video convinces me to put it back into my drawer. This foundation is one that offers a bit more of a glowy effect. If you look closely at the bottle, it does have a bit of a shimmer pearlescent shine to it, but it doesn't appear glittery on your skin. Although it's a more radiant foundation, it doesn't offer as much radiance as if you were to use the Charlotte Tilbury Hollywood Flawless Filter all over your face. I knew I was going to fumble my sentence there at some point, so I got nervous. But yeah, it might be a little bit light for me, but thankfully we have a ton of bronzers to go through today. What happened? What happened? And as you can see, the coverage level is like a nice light to medium, but it does allow my little henna freckles to show through, which is really cute. So I did have to purchase quite a few things for today's video. I did not want to repurchase the concealer because I had such a negative time with it when I first purchased it. So I didn't want to like repurchase it to have to return it and be wasteful and all that, but just know that I really did not get along with that concealer. I remember it being super weird and drying, mask-like and patchy-like. At the time of ordering, Sephora had a sample of the concealer, but they didn't end up sending it to me. They sent the Benefit Precisely My Brow Pencil Mini instead, unfortunately. So instead, I'll just use a bit more of a concentrated amount of the foundation on my beauty sponge. But if you are mad at me, I do have a little area in the description where you can form a formal complaint if you'd like. And if you can't find it, keep searching. It only appears if you push the subscribe button though, which is odd, but it's just how it works. Now it's powder time, and this powder is fire. It's the Surreal Skin Soft Blur Setting Powder. So I'm going to just use this under my eyes for the meantime. So I like to just dip the tip of the powder puff in there to get like this much. And then I kind of like pat it in my hand, and then I'll swirl it just to kind of get it nice and even. And I'll kind of do this a couple of times until I feel like it looks evenly dispersed on the powder puff. If you have finer lines like me, just make sure they're evened out before adding the powder, or else you're gonna set that creasage into place. This is a really pretty blurring powder, but it doesn't feel too drying, especially if you put a lot on, like I'm doing underneath my eyes. And the effect of the powder lasts really well. And I do have like a more oily combination skin type. So I'm going to put this to the side for now. I'm a little bit unsure of which direction to go in right now because there are so many different cheek products, especially for like bronzer contour. So the OG, the shaping stick, then came this glorious product right here, my favorite from Makeup by Mario, the Transforming Skin Enhancer. And now he just brought out the blurring bronzer. I have all three in the shade light medium. I'll do swatches on the back of my hand so you can see kind of the differences in opacities and finishes. So we have the shaping stick, the skin enhancer, and now the blurring bronzer, and all three are in the shade light medium. So we have something for the more fuller coverage people, the people who like a more natural, everyday, kind of clean girl aesthetic maybe, and now the powder bronzer. I'm all these people. I think I'd like to see what this looks like on my skin alone since it's going to be my first time using it. So in the case of blushes, I don't have any of the powder blushes. I've got quite a few shades in the Soft Pop Plumping Blush Veils, and I have Pomegranate in the blush stick. Here are the 4 shades I have in the Plumping Blush Veils. So this formula is very similar to the Skin Enhancer if you're familiar with that. And then this is quite similar to the Sculpting Stick. So from this side first, we've got Rose Crush, Strawberry Sunset, Pinch Me Pink and Barely Blushing. And then this is Pomegranate. Because I think I'm going to go quite cool toned and intense with the eyes, I'm going to go for Barely Blushing today. My favorite out of the two formulas is definitely this one. It's a little bit more unique, sheer, very easy to use. I'm also a big fan of the Makeup by Mario brushes. I think this is one of his strongest products in my opinion. My favorite is the F4. It's amazing for blush or contour and bronzer, cream bronzer and contour, sorry. I'm using the smaller side first, dipping into Barely Blushing. And I'm just going to tap a little bit of the excess off. And I'm just going to put some right here. This is a really good blush formula if you struggle with being a part of the Too Much Blush Club. Okay, wait. Jamie just told me that we're down to like 7 bookmarks, a few doodle pads left, and I think under 10 of the Too Much Blush Club stickers. This has been unbelievable, you guys. I've never launched anything, and just the amount of love and support from this collection has truly been out of this world and has been beyond my wildest dreams. Thank you so much for making this so special. I've truly been in disbelief. Oh. All I've been saying to Jamie every time she gives me an update, I'm just like, what? This is so wild. I'm sure she's so tired of hearing me say wild. That's so wild. Because it is. I can't believe it. Thank you for making this the most special thing for me ever. Because it starts off sheer, you can easily build it up to where you want it. And I find that the edges of this are always super nice and blended. I never have issues with patchiness whatsoever with this formula. I think because I'm going for a more sultry look with the eyes, I'm kind of combating it with a more cutesy blush application. I'm kind of curious to see what would happen if I add just a touch of Rose Crush into the mix. And I really like this dual-sided brush because if you apply too much using this side, you can flip it over and then just help the blend out without adding any extra product down. I'm now revisiting my powder. So I'm going to take more on a powder puff and I'm going to set my oilier areas with this, and then I'll switch over to like a looser powder brush. Taking the Makeup by Mario F2 brush. This one's a really nice powder brush. And with this, I'll just sweep. Not sure what's happening, but I have a little welt forming here. I thought it was blush, so I made it worse. I was like, but no, it's a little welt. Great. So now let's see what this bronzer is about. And I'll use my favorite bronzing brush, so I'm not using anything too different here. This is the MAC 143S brush. Ooh, very blurring indeed. At first I was like, ooh, is it orange? But now I feel like it's kind of sunken into the foundation and it's kind of neutralized. Or maybe I'm just digging the color. But that is very blurring and quite easy to diffuse. Let's see how it is on the cheek. Oh, okay, I'm gonna go take a little reactant. Be right back. Maybe my cat has been playing in my brushes. I don't know. I'm kind of blowing this out a little more because it's summertime, but I'm also going to be using a lot of cool tones on my eyes today. So I just want to kind of balance things out. Ooh, I quite like that. Although my eye just keeps going to my freaking little welt here. It looks nice. He also offers this product here, which launched at the same time as the Skin Enhancer. It was never really like a favorite product of mine, but over the years I've kind of softened on it and I do enjoy it. It's the Transforming Skin Perfector. 3 sheer products, you're meant to mix them all up and then kind of sweep it on the areas to blur and aliven your skin again. So I'm kind of enticed to see what would happen. But I wanted to give you a good view of my skin. I feel like my skin is really skinning today. I really like it. It feels kind of weird to film a full face of Makeup by Mario and not have a chance for me to gush about the Skin Enhancer, but maybe it's nice and refreshing that you don't have to hear my spiel for the 1,000,000th time. So I'm taking that same powder brush I was using, just swirling it up, tapping it, and here we go. Whoa, I feel like that really just diffuse things to the max. I'm speechless actually. I wasn't expecting that to do anything. Here we are. Here's this side. And that side. I'll try to not move as quickly so you can see that now that I'm going to add it on this side. Okay, ready? I think I just fell in love with this product. And I've had it in my collection for years. So I have a highlight. I'm sure I've tried this in my previous full face of makeup by Mario, but I don't have it in my collection. So I'm sure there's a reason for that. But this is the Soft Glow Highlighter in Pearl. Okay, it's actually not terrible, but nothing to really write home about either for me personally. I almost opened my mouth and said that this looks a little pixelated. I meant to mean, ooh, I just whacked my Diet Coke, so maybe that's a sign that I need a sip. It is quite pretty, but I feel like it's not wowing me. So before I move on to eyes, I have a setting spray to go in with. I like to set my face prior to eyes to avoid any creasage or adding moisture to shadows and such. I don't know if I've ever tried this one. If I have, I forgot my experience with it. Really nice mister. Letting it have a chance to sink in a bit. And then I'll take my sponge, just gently, without any pressure, just basically the lightest little butterfly kisses, just to sink that product in. And there we are. I really like my skin. So I'm just going to take a moment to do my brows and I'll prime my lids real quick and I'll be back. So please enjoy the kitten intermission. So now we've arrived at eyes. I primed my lids using the About Face eye primer because they just launched some cream eyeshadows. These are called the Master Matte's Long Wear Cream Shadows. I purchased two shades. I got Taupe and Slate. And I also, of course, have some eyeliners in the shades Perfect Brown. And I also got this cool color called Taupe. So here are the cream shadows in Taupe and Slate. And then these are the eyeliners Perfect Brown and Taupe. I'm really liking this for like an everyday color, but this is such a cool bluey true slate shade. I'm really loving this kind of vibe here. The one problem is I don't have a black liner. I only have the brown and the taupe. I'm going to line my waterline using this taupe shade, sorry. I don't know if that's gonna work. This cream shadow feels quite nice. I'm kind of familiarizing myself with the texture. It kind of feels like it has more of a moussey type vibe to it. I'm gonna take this brush ready. This is a Rephr 01 Mini. It's kind of like a nice fluffy but pinched brush. And I'm just going to put this all over my lid near my lashes first. I'm going to kind of pat this and I'll start dragging and blending upwards. Taking an actual fluffy brush that dried a little quicker than I expected, I'm taking some of that in the palm of my hand with a different fluffy brush. This is a 14 Max from Rephr, and I'm going to kind of diffuse some onto this brush. And I'm going to try to even this up. Okay, rough start. I'm going to try again on the other eye. I think that's salvageable, but if I were to do this like a one and done, I'd be kind of sad. So, okay, lesson learned, use more and work quicker. I'm so silent right now. Okay. Okay, you can layer it. I was a bit concerned because the first time I added more on this side, it kind of rehydrated the previous layer and took it off, but no, that's not happening. I feel like this does have a bit of a learning curve, but I think it could work. And I'm sure this is one of the more tricky shades to use. I might wipe this off and try the taupe shade on this side because I'm curious to see how that shade works. While I was doing that, I just watched the Superman trailer. I think I need to see that. That actor is so beautiful. Like, seeing him in Pearl, I fell in love. Gorgeous freaking man. It's the dimples. It is the dimples for me. Like, that one worked a lot better. They're a little quick drying for my taste, but I mean, that still worked out quite well. It is a bit maybe patchy. I think this formula is okay when you add another layer. Let's try. Sometimes I love the idea of a cream shadow, but then I'm like, I feel like this was 10 times more work and so many more nerves than just using a powder shadow for almost the same effect. I like that color. I didn't like where anything was going, so I wiped it all off, had a little snack, a little reset, and here we go. I'm going to do something that incorporates these as well as the eyeshadow palettes. So I'm going to scoop some of this slate cream shadow on the back of my hand. Taking this Refer 23 brush, which is a really tiny detailing brush, I'm going to add quite a bit of depth on the outermost point of my eye here. With a different brush, with a touch of that product on it, I'm going to try to diffuse this. Kind of keeping this rounded shape. Now with a fluffy brush, I'm taking this shade right here from the Neutrals palette, and this will be my crease color. It's a little bit of a pinker cool tone shade. Now I'm going to take this shade. I've never used this shade once. And I'm taking it on this Shodo 00 brush from Refer as well. It's also like a nice slate shade, but I kind of wanted it to be lighter than this slate. And I think it is. I think this is going to be pretty. And I'll take that transition pinky shade all the way across my lower lash line here. And a touch of that slate powder shadow. With that original little tiny detail brush, I'm taking the black from the shadow palette, and I'm going to really deepen just on the outer corner here. And using the lightest shade in the palette right here, this milky white, I'll use this as my inner corner. And I'm kind of traipsing it up towards my crease in my brow. But with whatever flat brush, I'm taking this bone shade right here, and I'll take some in the center here just to liven things up. I actually do really like this look now. It was going a bit sideways there, but I was like, I did not want this makeup look to flop. It's mascara time. I was using this mascara when I fried all my lashes off because it did give me quite a bit of volume, but since they've grown back, I haven't tried it, so I haven't been able to see what it looks like on my normal lashes. I hear really good things about this mascara though. It feels almost like powder. It's obviously like a wet mascara, but it almost has like a airy, powdery quality to it of how it feels going through my lashes. Because my natural lashes are so fine and thin, they always fall with these types of mascaras. Like the curl has already been destroyed, but it does add a lot of really nice volume. But here are the eyes all done. I think it looks really good. I really like this eye look now. The way I use this in this look, I do like it. I just feel like these are maybe a little bit more finicky than they're worth, in my opinion, but maybe I just haven't found like the way to use them yet. I'm going to continue trying them out before I like fully write them off. But now moving on to lips, this part is one of my favorite steps ever, which is lip liner, and I adore his line of lip liners. These are the 4 shades that I have in my collection. My top favorite shade, it would be Smoky Pink. So we have Smoky Pink, Tan, which I picked up for this video, Spice Chai, and Travis, which cracks me up. because I have a friend Travis and also my ex was Travis, and I just think it's funny to have a lip liner named Travis. But I think I remember he named his initial lineup of lip liners after all his employees. But it still makes me giggle. I want to try lining my lips with Travis, then filling them in with tan. This formula is so good. The color is so even and it has really good longevity for kind of a more creamy glidey pencil. They start off with a little bit of shine, but they do set. This might be too peanut butter baby, but I want to see. I really like that combo actually. Okay. I was also curious to see what it would look like with smoky pink in the center. Maybe a little dark. Ooh, I think I liked tan better. I kind of like the contrast of like the very cool toned eye with the chocolatey lip. I'm now just giving pure tan the go ahead. Ooh, I'm really happy I picked up this color. That's a nice, kind of almost like MAC stripped down adjacent, just less yellow and it's a lot softer. I'll pair this tan lip liner using the gloss in Rose Water. This gloss formula is delightful and he came out with a million shades. I just wish that there was more differentiation between the colors. They're all quite sheer or milky with like no pigmentation, so you only would really realistically need one. Like you can't like collect them all if you're like obsessed with this formula. They'll all look the same. But this is what it looks like with like a classic chill glossy lip. And again with tanned Travis on my lips. Back to back, I think I like the glossy version more, but this looks really cool too. Okay, this time I did smoky pink and Bear. Okay, I'm having too much fun with this look. Honestly, love Makeup by Mario, so many fun products. I just think that setting spray might be a little bit too full of glycerin for my skin type because I need some setting powder again. And here is my full face of Makeup by Mario. Okay, you have to tell me if this is fun. Instead of going through each product one by one, I decided to do a little ranking. Let me know if I should continue this. I think it's kind of a fun way to see it all at once. So I've split everything into 4 different categories. Products I wouldn't recommend, the ones that I find just okay, there might be better out there, the solid and reliable products, and then my standout favorites from the brand. Okay, so starting with wouldn't recommend, I didn't use it in today's video, but it's the only product I truly would not recommend from Makeup by Mario, and that would be the concealer. But that's it. That's the only one I could think that I could put in there. Now going into the just okays, I would have put the highlighter that I used today. I feel like there are really good highlights out there and this one doesn't compare to me. The lip glosses, although I really enjoy the formula, it has a really gorgeous texture. The colors just really disappoint me, unfortunately. Next for the setting spray, although it has a gorgeous mister, I just found that it was a bit too heavy for my liking and my skin type. So this one may work for you if you have a drier skin type. You might find this to be gorgeous. Then for the mascara, I also found that this one was just okay. Although the texture is really nice, I feel like it's really hard for me with mascaras. Me and my Clio mascaras just were so tight. It's hard to compare to any mascaras out there, and unfortunately this one just doesn't blow me out of the water. And then I would have to unfortunately put the cream shadows in this category as well, just because of the way that they performed today. They honestly just performed just okay. It could be totally user error. I'm going to continue trying them because the colors are so gorgeous. I'm going to try different techniques and I'll report back. Now going into the products that I find solid and reliable. Those would go for the sculpting sticks as well as the stick blushes. They're really good formulas. I would also put the eyeliners in this category. Although I didn't really get much use out of them today, I have used them a ton in the past. Same with the powder. I would also place the powder in this category. It's a gorgeous blurring powder, but I don't really know if it truly competes with my other favorite powders like the Kosas Cloud Set or the Huda Beauty loose setting powder, but it's a really good one and I'll continue using it. It's so nice and blurring, as you saw. Then the Skin Perfector was perfect today. I am going to be putting this in the rotation again. I can't believe the effect it had on my skin. I am such a fan of what it did today. I'm excited about this product all over again, and that's really fun. I would also put the foundation in this category. I'm happy I revisited it and I didn't declutter it because it's going right back into my drawer because it's gorgeous. And then finally, I'm going to put the new bronzer in this category too because it felt like a really nice formula. It truly was blurring, but it wasn't like anything so unique for it to be in my standout favorites, but it is a really good formula from my first impression today. Now finally, for probably the category you were most excited for, my standout favorites and my most recommended from the brand, the eyeshadow palettes for sure. Master Mattes, the neutrals, and the original warm palette. Such good palettes. I love how compact they are, but they have the perfect tonal range, truly perfect through and through in my eyes. I use these palettes every single day. I never put them away. They're always on my desk. I reach for them all the time. They're my top favorite palettes of all time for sure. Same with the same with the Skin Enhancer. That product has really revolutionized my makeup since the moment it came out a few years ago now. I still use it all the time. It's such a gorgeous balmy type formula that isn't sticky and isn't too sheer. It still adds a ton of definition to the face. It's just one of those glorious products that just really ignites the love for makeup in me. I don't know. Same with the Soft Pop Plumping Blush Veils. I always have to take it easy with that name because it's such a tongue twister for me, but it's the same formula as the enhancer, but just in blushy tones. So you can imagine that in some ways I love it even more because I love blush. And the lip liners. I think my favorite part of today's video was me playing around with those lip liners. They're such a good formula and the colors are gorgeous. And I also wanted to throw in the makeup brushes into this category. I put the picture of the F4 brush, but all of the brushes are amazing to work with. And I've used them for years and none of them have ever fallen apart on me. But there's my review and my full face of Makeup by Mario. Please let me know what brand you'd like to see next. I wanted to do About Face, but I'm waiting for the new bronzing sticks. I could do Tower 28. I think I have everything to do that, but let me know. Maybe there's a brand that I've never done before. I really hope you enjoyed today's video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. I'll have everything I used listed and linked in the description box down below as always, so feel free to check that out. And I'll see you in my next upload. Bye!